Hello folks, welcome to another Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. Once again, without any big and dramatic introduction to this analysis, it will happen very soon, I guess. However, we will start directly without any big words in the beginning, just to check what's going to happen with the market, because some people are now mentioning, like I mentioned and announced yesterday in my analysis, today we will see the FOMC meeting minutes. It could be interesting, and even it could bring some volatility. I don't have any expectations related to the FOMC meeting minutes. For me, it's much more interesting what the ISM manufacturing PMI and job openings will tell us, because this week is much more about unemployment rate and manufacturing PMI. So with the combination of next week and the CPI, it could be extremely interesting, and we will see how the markets will react to it. So I would be extremely careful, to be honest, with the next coming days. We will see what's going to happen there. So until Friday, and then next week with the CPI, it could bring us to new levels. So to new levels, I mean, as we are trading between 16 and 17k since a while now, it could bring us more to the upside or more to the downside. You know that my expectations are much more bearish than bullish, but however, it is what it is, and we will check today what we can figure out, what the market is doing, what whales, so the big the big guys are doing, and if we can figure out what could be the next steps. Let us start with the whales ratio 30 days moving average as usual, and as you see, nothing happened. So it maintains that level of 2279 since we have started here to push up. We went up, down, up. It's exactly the same structure we had just in the past. We started here, we bounced here. So the question is, are we done with the preparation? Are we going to bounce here and to flip to the downside? It's possible. But however, that's something we still need to check. And as you can see, it's doing exactly the same. Even if we did 2244 before, 2279 is also very close to the same level. It's very interesting. While the last time we started with the preparation at 31k, and now we started with the preparation at 19k, let us say 21k. So if we did last time a dump, and that was a big one at 30k, from 31 we went directly to 17, that was a big one. To be honest with you, I'm not expecting the same. I'm not expecting such a huge dump making 10,000s or something. Not yet, at least. I'm still waiting to have the solid signals, huge bitcoins coming into centralized exchanges, for example. But at the moment, I'm missing it. I can't say if they maybe use the Binance bank run to send a lot of bitcoins to centralized exchanges to hide the whole preparation. Because, of course, we know some of them are the masters of market manipulation. So we need to be extremely careful. It's like I said, just when the whole Binance stuff have started, I have said now it's really difficult to see if whales are really sending more bitcoins to centralized exchanges, because the net flow was negative, indicating they are sending more outside of centralized exchanges than sending to centralized exchanges. However, what we can see here is that they did a big preparation, and it looks very similar to what they did before. We went up before, we went up before, afterwards we dumped, afterwards we dumped, while it was in the same phase. So in the first, let me check the color, in the first leg of the waist ratio. That was here also the case. That was the first leg of the waist ratio. Afterwards it started the second one, and the second one was indicating that we were pushing up. It's not the same, but we were pushing up also here. In my opinion, this time we have a lack of demand, even more than we had just before. But it was, we were just lifting up while the second part of the preparation was happening. That was the second leg. And that's what's happening here as well, the second leg. So after that, it should start to decline. And usually then we should see some sell pressure, not indicating we are going to nuke directly. It's really difficult on whales ratio to say when we should start to dump, for example, when the sell pressure, because it doesn't mean that we could go directly to $5,000 down, for example. It just means we should create more volume, and even if we just make $1,500 or $2,000, it would be enough, because cheaper the Bitcoin price, more volume they will generate. That's absolutely logic, in my opinion. So let us go forward and take a look to the waist ratio 30 hours moving average. Also here they are doing exactly the same. When they do such kind of, I would say declining waist ratio 1 hour time frame, that is indicating you that they stop to distribute. They let the price go up. So you need to understand how the waist ratio works a little bit. That's like it's not a planning. So when they are sending, for example, Bitcoins to centralized exchanges, it's because they want to distribute. When they stop, it's just letting the price go up. They stop to distribute. They don't send more Bitcoins to centralized exchanges. It's not you, it's not me. They are using algos as well. So algos are making market trades. Many of them are doing market trades. So that's why spot CBDs are extremely useful. Sometimes, not always, but it's part of my analysis because of it. So if we check that, we can see that they are doing here the same at the same time. What happens afterwards? Well, afterwards they start the distribution. That's where we reach 100%. That's what we are still missing here. While the price started to dump, or to reduce, not dump, sorry, that's of course not dump, but to reduce, it's because they didn't start to distribute yet. However, because of a lack of demand, the price is not going up. But whales are not sending at the moment a lot of Bitcoins to centralized exchanges. They are attracting the price to go up. At the moment, not happening. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means it's not happening yet. So, and that's why I'm using the 30 hours moving average, just to see that here in a better and clear picture. So they let the price go up to distribute afterwards. So they let the price go up, it didn't. Afterwards, it pushed a little bit, and then they started to distribute. That's why the price started to decline. And the same happening here. Then they stopped, then they started to lift up very big. And now the price reacted with a delay lifting up. But the whole thing here is pure preparation. It means they are sending and send a lot of Bitcoins to centralized exchanges. And usually afterwards, the price should dump, should decline. Not dump, not nuke, just with a higher sell volume. And that's what I would expect next related to the weights ratio. Let us go and check the next chapter. So if we check right now the Bitcoin flow activity, we can see that since yesterday they have started to send big amounts of Bitcoins to centralized exchanges close before we started to lift up. So they knew and they used the opportunity once again to distribute. So they knew, and I guess they are the main driver of such push up, they send Bitcoins to centralized exchanges, initiate such a pump, retailers start to buy, and that's what they are doing afterwards. Then they distribute even more, and that's because they have much more Bitcoins to distribute than it seems demand. That's why the price starts to decline afterwards. But and we are talking, for example, here 2,700 Bitcoins and here another 2,100. We can say almost 5,000 Bitcoins in just 2 hours. Here another 800 Bitcoins. Anyway, so they are still sending and sending and sending Bitcoins while the price is going up, because they let the price going up. That looks extremely controlled what they are doing to distribute at upper prices. As long it maintains a level they need. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And that's what I can read related to on-chain analysis and what the weights ratio and flow activity is doing. Well, as you can see that the outflows reduced a lot. Because if we go over to the 1 day time frame, we can see it in a better picture, in a better view. If we start to check, for example, here we had 12,000 Bitcoins inflows, but at the same time only 8,450 Bitcoins outflows in 1 day. That was yesterday. So what happens with this gap of almost 4,000 Bitcoins? What do you think? They didn't distribute them. Why not? Well, usually because that's part of a preparation. They are preparing the next big operation. If we check, for example, here, it's the same case, but the opposite one. We received 14,500 Bitcoins, but we had an outflow of 15,200. If we check here, exactly the same. 11,670 Bitcoins inflows, outflows 16,700. What happens afterwards? The price starts to lift up. So if we check here and here, it's always the same. They started here to send more Bitcoins to centralized exchanges to distribute. Like here, and so on and so forth. Well, that was an exception here, but then here, and so on and so forth. At the moment, and that's for today, as the day is not done yet, it's indicating 6,700 Bitcoins inflows and 8,300 Bitcoins outflows. Of course, because we pushed up. So yeah, at the moment, if we zoom out, I have to say, and that's why I'm not expecting a really huge, some people sometimes are talking about 10,000 or whatever. No, I think we will retest maybe the areas of 15,600, 700, and maybe then go more down. But that's something we need to check, and we need to have patience for it. I still think the preparation is still running, maybe almost done, but not complete. Maybe related to FOMC. Maybe they really need such kind of yeah, of trigger. Well, we'll see. However, that's what we can see here. While if we enable, for example, the stablecoins, we can see once again they are just reacting. They are not proactively sending stablecoins to centralized exchanges. They are just reacting to the sell pressure. That's the only thing they are doing. That's why I have my doubts that we can short term just go up to 17,400 or 500. I was reading that some people are expecting an entry short at 17.3 or 17.4. I don't know. We have a lot of sell orders waiting there. So only if that's spoofing and they will remove them, it could be possible. Otherwise, I don't think so. So let us talk about futures and what happens here. First of all, we can see that the funding rate declined. I mean, in sequences, we can see or say it declined from here to here. Then it went up, then it declined, it went up, it declined, and now it's going up very hard. Going up to a level that's indicating they are demanding much more longs than shorts. So, of course, if we check, for example, the open interest, it's declining, leverage ratio is also declining, both at the same time, indicating those who were using a higher leverage are closing their positions. That's what's happening here. But at the same time, and that's where I'm a little bit skeptic about how bullish this market is at the moment, is because the volume, even related to futures, and that's an aggregated chart here, it's reducing a lot. So 185 millions in stablecoins related to derivative exchanges is the max yet. And that's not big, because a few weeks ago we had 300 and even 600 millions. Not happening anymore. Also related to bitcoins, we had a bigger cash out of 4,000 bitcoins, that was here the red bar, but on the green side nothing big is happening. The maximum 1,700 bitcoins, and you remember July, August, we had even 6,000, 7,000, sometimes even 10,000 bitcoins related to derivative exchanges. Inflows, outflows not happening as well. That's, in my opinion, also nothing really bullish. If we start to zoom out, you remember I have mentioned that yesterday, that, let me see, that it was looking like that this trend here related to the funding rate was close to break to the downside, indicating there would start to demand more shorts, but that's not happening. Instead, if we check that, we can see we reached a new or the old top, so almost indicating they are demanding more longs, still demanding more longs. That's at least what the aggregated chart is indicating. If we go forward, that's also an aggregated one, but in daily time frame, we can see what I have mentioned here, that they are still demanding more longs, leverage ratio lifting up, open interest recovering, but nothing big. Of course, we had some holidays, so nothing big happened, but also another indication that we have more longs on the table than shorts every time some volatility comes in. So when we push up and then down, we are liquidating more longs than shorts, indicating we have more longs. So when people are saying, yeah, because the short squeeze will be legendary. Of course we have shorts, but we still have more longs. Because, I mean, we had, last year wasn't a good crypto year. Not even because of the price action or price levels. because of the behavior of big crypto actors. So they destroyed a lot of trust to crypto. However, since 2020, many of us think crypto is only up, 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 up. And we remember Bitcoin at 69K, Bitcoin at 60K. And nobody, I mean, not saying that's going to happen, but something we should have in mind. Many people think that to see Bitcoin at 3K or 5K is not possible anymore. Because of course, and that's part of the crypto space, is marketing. Like they did with Shiba, like they did with Doji, like they did with almost every altcoin, they did also with Bitcoin. Bitcoin to the moon, 100K, 250K, 600K. We remember all these high price levels they mentioned and announced. Until end of 2022, we will see Bitcoin at 100K. When you are reading that, every time and again and again and again and again, it's in your mind. But don't trade visions. Don't trade what people told you. Don't trade, just trade what is on the table. Check the political agenda. Also, make an analysis about the risks, not only about the opportunities. If you want to make money, you need a solid ratio of opportunity and risk. And only if you can absorb the risk, it makes sense to make such a trade. Otherwise, miss it. Sometimes it's better to miss a nice opportunity, but you know that the risks are too big to absorb. So in worst case, you will miss a nice opportunity. In best case, you will miss a dramatic end. So just to mention that, I know that many people think Bitcoin only up. Some people are saying, hey, I buy Bitcoin because I believe in Bitcoin. I believe in the infrastructure of Bitcoin. And yes, I like that. I like that. Sometimes I'm very critical related to Bitcoin, but not because of the technology behind, much more about the Bitcoin community. Sometimes they are too bullish, just in my opinion, too bullish, repeating slogans, and so a little bit like the whole marketing engine, something I don't like at all, but that's another chapter. However, but Bitcoin, you can also buy Bitcoin Cash, for example. So I'm not going to start a discussion now, but just to mention that Bitcoin only doesn't exist. We have also alternatives based on Bitcoin. Opportunity and risk, both have to work out, otherwise it could be very difficult. Just have that in mind. Not saying that Bitcoin is bad, but also not telling you that Bitcoin is a miracle. Okay? It's an asset. And that's how you should trade it, as an asset. That's my message behind. Like every other asset. Doesn't matter if it's Doji, Shiba, or whatever. Or Ripple. So let us go forward. So as mentioned, that's just confirming what we have talked before, and now we check Binance, and that's the Binance future chart. And the Binance future chart is indicating something different. It's indicating us that the trend here is negative. It's indicating they're at the moment demanding more shorts than longs, so doing the opposite of, it seems, many other exchanges. While the open interest is declining, while the leverage ratio is declining. So here also they are cashing out, taking out the money, and demanding more shorts. Now let us take a look to the blockchain whispers. As you are noticing, I'm taking a little bit more time today just to explain more in detail, because my goal is to give you only all the stuff to understand my content so you can use my charts afterwards and even expand a little bit your understanding of the market. So today I'm taking a little bit more of time because of that. I know if you're following me since a while, I'm absolutely sorry, because it will take a little bit more. However, Blockchain Whispers. What is Blockchain Whispers? Blockchain Whispers is not doing anything else than using Binance raw data. You can see the same information on Binance.com, for example. On Binance.com, you can go to the 24 one-day time frame, for example. You will see here an open interest indicating you 1.7 billion, 1.751 billion. At the same time, you have a long-short ratio. If you go here and also, for example, just to make that the one-day time frame, it's indicating we have 66.89% of longs, while only 33% in shorts. So what Blockchain Whispers is doing here is taking 66.89% multiplied 1.751 billions in open interest, and that's what they are indicating then here. And that's why it's indicating 61%, indicating that we still have much more longs than shorts, much more. Even they reduced on Bitfinex, for example, more the shorts, but at least on Binance we have much more longs than shorts. That's a fact. If we go forward, and I guess that explains why many people are indicating that we should go to 17.3, 74 something, is just to liquidate this part here, this liquidation cluster. But it's a tiny one. It's really a tiny one. So if they want to liquidate something, they need to wait, or they need to liquidate this one, but in such case it would even make more sense to liquidate this one because it's bigger. So we need to make a bigger step, hitting 19k or going down back to 15k. Otherwise, even more higher, as you can see. While we have liquidation clusters of maximum 40 millions and they are almost here, with an extreme low leverage, indicating we need to go up to 25k, for example, to liquidate them. Something I don't think that's going to happen today. Okay, that was a long lesson today, I know, related to futures, but I hope that brings a better understanding. Let us go forward. So let us see what the market is doing based on CBDs. Cumulative volume delta means when market traders are buying more than selling, the CBD should be positive, like in that way. When market traders are selling more than buying, the CBD declines, like it's happening here. So let us check what's happening. Well, first of all, that's Binance, the Binance BTC USDT pair, and we have the aggregated here. We have coin margin contracts, so Bitcoin collateral futures and stablecoin collateral futures related to Bitcoin. If we check what happened, it was a pump and dump, and it seems Binance was here the main driver. Pushed up, distributed all. That's what they did in an upper price level. So they did everything right, to be honest. So that's what we are seeing, but it maintains, as you see, it's still going more down, indicating they're still distributing more than buying. And that's Bitfinex, the BTC USD pair, and these guys are not even distributing yet. They started a little bit, but nothing big, and they started to buy more than sell. Yeah, that's why the CBD starts to lift up, even in an upper price level. So for them, maybe it doesn't make sense here to distribute yet. If we go forward, and that's now Kraken, yeah, doing exactly the same. They not are distributing anything at the moment, not yet at least. If we check here, we can see that's Bitget bought the dip and is distributing, but nothing big. If we check here, that's Coinbase, and Coinbase both a little bit, but not doing anything, absolutely anything. So let us go forward, and we can see what they are doing. Bitstamp, buying, distributing a little bit, but nothing big. And last but not least, Gemini. And Gemini bought the dip and yeah, are not even distributing at the moment. They are not doing anything. That's what we can see here, for example. So if we check next the entities, we can see retailers are maintaining its high level. These guys here pushing up even a little bit more. These guys here pushing up, well, yeah, short term pushed up a little bit, but maintaining. These guys here declining. They usually buy the dip to sell in the upper levels. And the market maker did a new low level and lifted up a little bit, just a little bit. I didn't check yet. So we did 4,560,000 and we are now back to 4,570,000. Let me check. Yeah, and we received from bigger entities some new wallets that would explain that a lot. Okay, so yeah, they have 4,570,000 bitcoins at the moment, so it makes sense, but that's not the key. The key is that here. The key is that before they let the price go up, they send 2,000 bitcoins to centralized exchanges, and that's the fund flow of market makers. And the whole thing looks really like a preparation. I have mentioned that the price starts to flip from here. So it was declining, and then it started to push up. Since then, we are receiving more fund flows from market maker. That was almost 3,000 bitcoins here, another 2,000 bitcoins, and once again, it looks extremely like distribution. So not really bullish at all. However, let us go forward and check what is happening here. We can see that Bitcoin exchanges, reserves on exchanges lifted up. Well, market activity is declining more. Maybe I should change the color in white to see it in a better way. Yeah. So that's the average. You can see what's happening to the market. So it's reaching new low levels, multi-years low levels. Also not really cool. Only miners rise their reserves, like my buddy IT just indicated on Twitter as well that they received a lot of bitcoins. IT techs. Sorry, I need to I need to say that the complete name. IT tech. However, at the moment, miners also sending 1,500 bitcoins to centralized exchanges. So they are starting to send more Bitcoins to centralized exchanges. And yeah, as usual, when the price starts to decline, you see centralized exchanges declining in activity and network activity rising, OTC for example. And that's something we know very well. So they like, and I have mentioned many times, every time when the price starts to lift up, mainly because of centralized exchanges, OTC are very active. And usually because, for example, like market makers use different channels to distribute, not only centralized exchanges. If we check here, I don't know, that looks like a little bit like wash trading. So we had almost 14,000 Bitcoins outflow, and few hours later we received 15,000 Bitcoins. At the moment, nothing big happening here, absolutely nothing. If we check the balance exchange, I think it looks a little bit neutral. No, it's lifting up. It's lifting up at the moment. All the thing here was much more related to the whole Binance thing. Not everything, but a big part of it. And now it's lifting up. That's why I said in the beginning of my analysis, I'm not really sure how much we received. And that's the problem because of these big outflows related to the centralized exchanges. And yeah, also here, that's it. Let us go forward. So we can see that Coinbase at the moment is limiting the way up at 17K, but also limiting the way down at 16.3 at the moment at least, and reinforcing some walls to the downside while reducing sell orders to the upside. As we can see here at 17.5 or even at 17.2. They removed some liquidity at 13, for example, and so on and so forth, but still looking, as you can see here, we have those walls here on Coinbase, indicating we just have a tiny trade range at the moment. So Deribit is pure perp. We don't see anything here, only a limitation at 17.5, but that's it. The long order disappeared. Bitstamp, oh, Bitstamp spot. On Bitstamp spot, we still have at 17K a limitation, otherwise at 17.5. 15.4 big, and then everything below 15K, it starts to be, yeah, you know, they need to unload big just to break all of that. And yeah, 14K is the end of the street. So afterwards, it's really almost, I wouldn't say not possible, but really hard to cross all these orders. Binance. What is Binance doing? Well, first of all, they started to reinforce and to bring more sell orders between 17,000 and 17,100. It looks really solid. So to be honest with you, I don't see any way how to break that to the upside. Not yet. And even they are bringing now more liquidity, for example, at 16.3. They removed some liquidity, for example, at 15.2, and shifting a little bit more to the downside, 14.7, removing liquidity, for example, at 14.3, and so on and so forth. So we can see that on Binance, they are doing some stuff. You can also see what happened here. So we failed to break that one. We failed to break here. We failed to break here. We failed to break here. And now we are here. And in my opinion, that's our destination. Another leg to the upside. Trap a lot of retailers. And then go down. However, 17k for me, it's at the moment the maximum. We will see if we will retest that area or go down. So we should have a little bounce at 16.8. Maybe we will go down then afterwards up. I don't know, to be honest. But you can see that we have a 16.9, also a wall waiting there. So nothing, it should surprise us, to be honest. Bitfinex spot, nothing. Well, waiting at 15.8, but nothing else. Otherwise 18k to unload. OKEX spot, nothing. Oops, Kraken spot, waiting at 17k. Otherwise 16.2 and below. Bybit, nothing. Bitmax, 15.6 will be the next. Binance futures, looking very interesting. Wow, looking very interesting. And we have much more short ammo than long ammo, indicating much more volume here than here. So they want to short more. And also here 17k, one limitation, and doing exactly the same like in spot. 16.1, 16.2, and so on and so forth. While at the same time waiting here at 16.5, also here at 16.6. But if we break those, 15.2 will be the next one. You can see we had much more before, much more sell or short volume before than now, but now more concentrated in lower levels between 17 and 17.2. Bitfinex derivatives, they started to short. Kraken futures, also waiting at 17.2 and 17.4, but nothing else. OKEX futures waiting at 17k. They triggered it to short, also nice. And that's it. OKEX swap, nothing happening to OKEX swap. Well, that's strange. Where's the order? Okay. And BTC USDT Bybit, just to check if we can find anything there, but no. That's it.